All right, here we go, y'all. Let's play some crab opening chests today. You know, never hurt nobody to get some seafood chests in the game. H5, A5, and okay, there we go. Our crab-like setup. We already got a space advantage on both sides of the board. We don't have a center at all, but we're going to go after that center for the rest of this game. Here we'll play a move like G6. And really, guys, in the crab, what we're trying to do is push our pawns to H5 and A5, get that crab-like setup, and then, you know, look to fianchetto our bishops, put knights on E7 and D7. We're going to be in business. Okay, E6. Let's see, bishop G7. Knight E7. Look, if at any point White wants to take my knight off the board, I'm completely okay with that. I'm just going to take back with my queen. I got D6. My opponent just said, I'm not going to be beaten by the crab. That's funny. Good on you for knowing what the crab is. Okay, knight D7. My guy, chess underscore Yakuza. By the way, guys, every single person you see in this video is a subscriber, right? I just made an announcement that I'm going to be playing some games against subscribers. Really, I'm just messing around with some troll openings, you know, the crab, the bongcloud, the fried fox. But hey, you know, you want to jump on, you're going to be in the videos. And on top of that, guys, I mean, you know, these are, you know, it's pretty cool. I mean, honestly, my favorite part of having a channel is getting to know you guys and getting to talk up some chess. So I love being able to, you know, just play against these guys that you're seeing right now, right? And just get some fun chess in, right? So, okay, we play this move, B6. Looking to fianchetto my bishop. You know, it's surprisingly hard to figure out like an easy way to beat the crab, right? It's stronger than most people think. I used to think it was just terrible, right? And in fact, what's worse than playing freaking H4 and A4 to start the game off, or A5 and H5 as black? Not much. But that being said, you get the right setup, it's kind of okay. It in its own way, it kind of works, right? So okay, we see this move Queen E2. If you ever want to play E5, I'll lock it up. If you ever want to play D5, I'll lock it up. Here, White's playing pretty well though. They're not pushing too hard against the crab. They're just playing solid, which is making me make some tough choices here. Got bishop A6 ideas against that queen. Of course, I just played bishop E7, so I mean I could play E5 here, trying to lock the game down a little bit. But of course, that just activates this bishop on B3, which is not what I want. Decisions. F6 is interesting. There's a lot of ways to go about this here. Let's see. Interesting position here for sure. Let's see. I could castle, but then I'm a little bit worried about G4, right? I want to keep my options open here. I don't want to play something too quick, too premature at least. I'll play C5. I'm going to play C5. This is one of the common ideas in the crab and the hippo, even though the hippo is a lot better, honestly. You know, just using a flank pawn and putting some pressure in the center. My opponent here decides to trade off and then continue now with the move like D5. And now all of a sudden, the crab player has achieved their dream position, right? The opponent has spent all this time pushing up their central pawns to squares like E4 and D5, but okay, we've just locked things up. Knight G5 is now played. In that case, I'll just take off that knight. But, you know, in a position like that, guys, all of a sudden we're going to have moves like bishop A6 and bishop H6 cutting down White in this position, and we're going to be in business. So, okay, we see H4. I'll take that pawn off, attacking the rook. See what White goes with there. Okay, so I don't want to allow my queen to be trapped here with rook G1, so let's offer a queen trade. F3, we got queen F4, pinning that knight on G2, the king on C1. Crab chess. You know, if any of you guys were subs when I first came out with the crab opening video, I think it's like, yeah, it's still there. You could look it up. It's like how to, you know, chess openings, learn not to play the crab. I just went after that thing. I said it was so dumb, but then all of a sudden there's like, you know, way more videos on it on the channel, and that's because I started to kind of like it. But you know, we all grow, we all evolve, right? We all grow new tastes. I wasn't a big seafood guy in the beginning when it came to chess, but I eventually was. Queen d3. Let's play bishop a6. Right. One nice thing about the crab, they locked the center up. Okay, we got our claws ready to go. Our bishop's activated on a6 and h6. We're now attacking the queen. Bishop h6 ready to go here. Very easy move as well. Knight c4. Okay, I don't want to allow that, so I could take. I could. I'm actually going to go with king e7, though. This may seem like a bongcloud kind of move, but you know, I didn't want to allow knight takes d6 a check. I also didn't want to trade right away because then my light scores would be a little bit weak. This bishop is very strong on a6, so why not just keep this knight pinned, right? Keep this knight pinned and give white a hard position to work with. I mean, if this queen ever moves to a square like d2 or e3, which white wisely did not just do, I'd have bishop h6, and I'm winning a queen, right? So white here playing very smartly with that move, queen c2. Let's see, I could play b5, kind of try to chase that knight around. Of course, knight takes a5, knight c6 ideas are in the air. It's interesting. Let's play f5. Let's play f5. Try to break open the center a little bit, put some pressure on e4. f3 is played. Let's see, in that case, I will just, you know, if I do take, then rook f1 is in the air, so I'm going to play check. Obviously, I've been talking way too much here. I only have a minute on the clock. What's new, though? Knight f6. So now I'm trying to put as much pressure on e4 as I can. I'll pre-move there, even though I don't think white's going to do that. Well, actually, I don't need to do that. If they do that, I'll just take the knight on c4 because my queen would be attacking it. Rook there, bishop h6. I'm not going to take on e4 at any point, probably, because this rook on f1 is so strong. Of course, the good news now is that this knight is pinned to that rook on f1. So you can take the pawn, but I'll take your rook on f1 in return for that. Pawn. I also have a4 ideas now as well, distracting that bishop from the knight, which is what I'm going to go with. Bishop a2 is probably the move here. Bishop e5. Okay, knight takes b6. Let's play rook b8. So a lot of things going on here. I'm up 2 points of material. Play this move, queen e3, putting pressure on the rook. Really, I'm threatening to play bishop d3, just winning that queen on c2, right? And that's exactly what we're going to get. So bishop d3. Check against that king. The king runs away. Yeah, let's just take that pawn off. Okay, white here staying in the fight. Rook g5. I think that was a mouse slip. I'll take back. Rook g1. Queen captures back. Game over. Let's keep it rolling. Crab opening chess, guys. Stronger than most give it credit for. Again, we're getting that claw type position. A4 and h4, gaining space on both sides of the board, and we're going, look, take control of the center. That's cool. I'm going to be going after that center for the rest of this game. All of a sudden, my opponent here, you know, playing a troll opening against myself with this move, king e7. So here we got a crab versus a bongcloud. Who would have thought that we'd ever reach such a matchup in the world of chess? Okay, here we go. b3. Bishop a3 ideas in the air, potentially. Of course, d6 could be played at the moment. I'll play g3. Okay, d6. And obviously, guys, I'm kind of walking through this crab opening a little bit. You know, the fiend shadow bishops, the knights tucked away on d2 and e2. But You know, one nice thing about the crab, guys, we don't really care what the opponent plays. It's really similar to the hippo in a lot of ways. The big difference between the crab and the hippo is that the hippo, we don't push pawns to a4 and h4. We actually push them up to a3 and h3. And I think that the hippo is a much better opening than the crab. I would never play the crab in over-the-board chess because squares like b4 and g4 are extremely weak. But that being said, in blitz and especially bullet chess, the crab is a very fun weapon in a lot of cases. One reason being, you know, you got a pawn here or a pawn here on h4. You're only a couple moves away from really trying to break through on one side of the board, right? So if black castles kingside, you got a couple moves away from h6, and black doesn't really get any kind of huge warning when you play h4, right? Because you've already played it. So there's a lot of psychological advantages as well. We see this move rook b8. They're probably wanting to fiend shadow the bishop is my guess. Yep, knight e2. Okay, interesting. In that case, I could play e4, d5, e5. It's not that good. Yeah, honestly, I'll just castle. I'm cool with that. You want to fiend shadow and then take my bishop? I'm okay. Just castle, play normal chess here. Well, we kind of left normal at the door a long time ago, but. Okay, knight h5. Okay, so black here really trying to trade off the bishops. Interesting strategy. You know, this is actually not that bad of a look against the crab. Just trying to take out those fiend shadow bishops. Here I'd say we have a somewhat even game. I'd say a slight advantage to white, particularly because of the spacing between our king and the king on e7. But that being said, this game is far from over. I think at this point I will push with e4. I'd like, if I had time, to get in moves like f4, knight f3, potentially a move like c3, queen c2, d4, expand in the center, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have that much time. f4, knight f3, maybe I will have that much time. King there, interesting. I could play g4 here. I'm going to do it. g4. Try to continue making more space on the king side. f5 is probably the move here for black. We see h5. Another solid option. I'm going to play g5, just expanding here. f6. Okay. Queen d2. Okay, so we see a capture back on g5. In that case, we can capture back. Knight f4 is a nice look. Of course, it can be defended by king h7 or queen e8, both defending the pawn on g6. I actually might just start fighting for that open file, right? Play a move like knight h2. See what black comes up with here. d5. Okay, black playing well. d5, putting some pressure on my centralized pawn. Yeah, it's actually okay. I'm going to take on f8. With check. Yeah, now black has to decide, do they want to take with the queen or do they want to take with the knight? I actually do think taking with the knight is the best option there. Now black's actually threatening to take off my pawn on e4. Whole idea being if I take with the pawn, take for the queen. And if I take with the bishop, then they take with the bishop. And yet again, after pawn takes, I cannot take back with the pawn or I lose my queen, right? So I think in this case, I will take on d5. I could have also moved my queen as well to a square like e3, but okay, I mean, we just take back. Here we'll play a move like knight f4, putting some pressure on d5, as well as g6 and h5 as well, in addition to the square on e6. This knight on f4, very strong. Black wise to try to trade it off. In that case, I'll just support it with my rook on f1. I think I actually could have taken on g6 there, now that I'm looking at it. I don't know how I missed that move, but, you know, it happens. Looks like we'll take that pawn off now. Okay, queen e8. Okay, I'll just bring the knight back, right? Attack the knight on e6. And the pawn h5. Okay, queen e7. Yeah, let's pin that knight. This knight is a solid knight, but let's make it a pinned one, right? So now this knight can't move without just dropping the queen. I'm going to continue to put pressure on that knight as much as I possibly can. Bishop h3, maybe queen e2 even, and see if I can get some material here. Okay, queen d6. Okay, so now my knight is the one being attacked. I'll take on e6. I'm cool with that. So it looks like black got out of that, but I still have an active game, right? Bishop on h3, rook on e1. I'll take there. Knight takes e6. Knight f3 is interesting. Of course, queen e2 runs into knight f4, queen e5. Yeah, it looks fine for me. Queen e2, attacking the knight. Okay, rook e8. Let's see, knight f3. This knight can only go to g7 or c7 without losing that rook on e8. By the queen just taking it right off. Queen c5 with check. I will play d4. Again, you want to take with the knight? I have check on e8. You want to take with the queen? I'll just take your queen off. In this case, I will play a move like queen e5, continuing to try to gain some ground here. Pre-move back with the rook, putting pressure on that knight on e6. Play a move like c3, solidify d4. Now I got to get my king involved as much as I possibly can. Okay, I'll take on e8. I'll play knight e5. Of course, knight e2 was an option. I'll get 2 pawns now out of the deal. Okay, check. Okay, now I can just trade off knights, though. Notice here, this king has no hope to try to win my pawns because they all cover each other, right? They're covering these squares. There's no way for this king to get to that pawn on b5. And now as white, I'm just going to start to expand on the king side. Throw my king in here, win the pawn. Slide my king back over. Play move like d5. d6. I don't want a stalemate here, right? King d6 would be a stalemate, so I'll put him in zugzwang, give him a move, then I'll continue with king e7. And then at this point, I have a queen, and black has 2 moves, so I'll just make a second one. And there you go.